So the number one concern for retirees is running out of money in retirement. And that's a valid concern. I mean, let's take a look at it. If you retired in 1990, your portfolio would look much different than it did if you retired in 2000 with the same amount of money. You know, just because of market downturns. The early 2000s were brutal, and then 2008 was another downturn, and then you hit the pandemic. So basically, sequence of returns has a lot to do with that. So what can you do to help avoid some of that? Probably the number one thing you can do, and this is for couples, is the divorce rate since 1990 has doubled for people over 50 years old. And I've ran into a few people who are in their 50s that got a divorce, and it caused them to work much longer because they had to split their assets. Because now you have two households that you have in retirement, and getting divorced is just a really bad thing for your retirement. And many people are even going into retirement and have been retired and getting divorces. And that just can really ruin your retirement plan. So work on your relationships and make sure it's solid before you take that jump into retirement. And one of the things on the financial end is if your investment portfolio is 90-10 or something like that in your later years, if you are invested heavily in stocks, you can get hurt pretty badly in a market downturn. If you have a 30% downturn, you know, that can really be critical. So you really need to rebalance your portfolio as you go along to ensure that you don't get completely wiped out during these market downturns. So, you know, get a hold of a fiduciary fee-only financial advisor, and you don't have to turn your money over to them, but they'll talk you through the different options and how you want to break up your portfolio. And I would suggest having at least a 2-bucket system. A lot of people like a 3-bucket system, and the 2-bucket system doesn't have to be complicated. If you got, you know, stocks and bonds and real secure investments, you know, that can be your 1 bucket, and then your long-term investments can be your 2nd bucket. Because if you stay in the market, if you don't panic, if you don't sell during these downturns, historically, you know, the market's going to bounce back, and a lot of times it bounces back with a vengeance. And if you don't have your money invested wisely, in other words, if you sell off all your stocks and put it into bonds, and then the market comes back, you're losing out on those gains. So invest wisely, try to have at least a couple of buckets. You know, a 3-bucket system looks like having cash on hand that'll ride you through 2 to 3 years. You know, just basically cash and things that are going to get you 5% return. A 2nd bucket, which is a little more aggressive, and then a 3rd bucket, which is for your long-term investments. And that'll help you ride through these difficult times and these difficult market downturns that we have coming up. Probably, depending on your age, you're going to see 2 to 3 more of these downturns in your retirement. So it's something that's going to happen, and you might as well prepare for it. And many of us, as we get close to retirement, we've accumulated more money than we've ever had in our lives. And it is so tempting to go out and buy that vacation home. You know, so you'll have 2 homes so everybody can come and visit you in Florida, and then you can move back home in the summertime. But that can be a pretty bad idea. You need to go into that with your eyes open. If you have the assets and the funding to do that, hey, great, good for you. But I would suggest taking a good hard look at what the maintenance fees are on this second home, at what it's going to cost you in property taxes. Because if you're not going to live there full time, that kind of stuff can really eat into your income, your monthly spending income. And as one of my favorite YouTubers would say, Azul, he would say 1 spouse and 1 house. And I agree with that. But again, I'm not a professional financial advisor, so seek out professional help before you make any life-altering decisions. And I say life-altering, but before you make any decisions that are going to really impact your retirement. And when we talk about housing and retirement, you also may want to take a hard look at relocating to a place that has lower property taxes, lower income taxes, lower state taxes. And that can help out your monthly spend, because remember, a retirement plan, although it's built on your income and the money you have, the easiest way, or one of the easiest ways, is to lower your monthly spending, right? So take a look at that. Another problem that can really devastate your retirement plan is helping out your adult children and your grandchildren. And I know it's really hard. You want them to succeed. You want them to have that big, nice house to raise your grandchildren. And it'd be nice to pull $100,000 out and, help them get on their feet. But I'm telling you, you can get loans for houses. You can get loans for cars. You can get loans for education. But you know what loan you can't get? You can't get a retirement loan. So please, before you take out a big part of your retirement fund to help out your adult children and grandchildren, take a good hard look at that, because that really could impact you later in your retirement years. And I saved the worst for last. What can really ruin your retirement plan is your health. Yeah, if you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have a healthy lifestyle where you can travel and enjoy your retirement, it's not going to be much of a retirement now, is it? So you got to really take care of yourself. And I know it's very hard when you're building your career, when you're in your 30s and 40s, it is really hard to concentrate on your health, eating right, keeping your stress level down, keeping your blood pressure down, doing your physicals. That kind of stuff is really tough when you're building a career. And, I fell into that really badly. I was in pretty poor health at one point. And the last 10 years before retirement, when I hit 50, I really started going to my doctors regularly. I got things checked out. We found some problems. We figured out why I couldn't sleep at night. And, we got most of that taken care of. But as you get older, you are going to break down a little bit. And you are going to pay for your younger years. There's no doubt about it. You're going to pay for what you did in your younger years when you get older. So be sure and take care of yourself, take care of your health. And although there's a ton of great advice on YouTube, including this channel, you can't take everything to heart for what YouTube tells you. So if you've gotten value out of this video, I'd appreciate it if you'd go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know where you're from, what you're doing in retirement, things like that. Don't get too personal, and go ahead and watch this video next.